Hey everybody, Preston Flatt back again. And of course, me and my usual sidekick, my missionary buddy from when him and I were both LDS missionaries in Taiwan back in 1976 to 78. Hey man, how's it going? Oh, it's going great, brother. Hey, today I thought we'd answer another question. Is that okay with you? Yeah, man, that's all right. Okay, so what's the question today, brother? Can you please read it for us? Yeah. Somebody asked about washing machine exercise. What's that all about? Is there some reason to do that? What's it all about? Okay, that's a great one to talk about. It's the washing machine exercise. What is it? And what are the unknown benefits of it? The spiritual benefits of doing the washing machine exercise. First of all, for those of you that don't know what the washing machine exercise is, would you like to demonstrate it, brother? I'll demonstrate it. Dude, you're not swinging your arms enough. What arm you talking about, bro? Okay, man, so I'm going to demonstrate it for you. It's a Chinese exercise, but it's got tons of benefits. It's a way to make your center of gravity clear. So just check this out. You usually just stand like this, and then you just turn your waist like this. And this is like some of those perhaps more old-fashioned washing machines. You just turn back and forth like this. And I want you to see that by doing this, it's almost as if turning around a central axis. See how that is? Now, you think, that doesn't look like much. I don't even know if I want to watch the rest of this video. You better watch it because I think this is going to give you some very profound information. In particular, in people's life experience, a lot of times they don't feel that they're all together. They feel perhaps just that they're not all together, you know, and they want some way to feel that their center of gravity is more clear. And so there are some traditions, such as the Sufis, and there, if you know about the Whirling Dervishes, they spin their entire body. And in the spinning, all things are thrown to the outside, and the one that spins rests ever, as always, in the center. And this creates something similar to what you have in a hurricane. Because with a hurricane, you have a big old powerful storm with a lot of moving parts, right? You could have a unorganized storm where there's just clouds popping up here and there. And if you've ever seen such a storm as that on a weather map, and you're trying to figure out, well, should I even bring an umbrella today? What's going on? But it keeps changing, and you just can't even make sense of it. You can't even trace it in a predictable way. But see, you're in this life, and you, in your place, you want to apply your life onto this world in a predictable way, in some kind of a way that's all together, in a way that makes sense. And how are you going to do that? Well, first of all, you want to feel that yourself, your energies, the place that from which you live, and from that place you apply yourself onto the world, you want to feel that you're all together. And that will keep you living in a more efficient way. So what I'm trying to say is, in nature, you could take that very same unorganized storm and just simply spin it. If you can just spin it, spin that sucker around, it will reveal, it will organize around a center, it will show the center. The center will be experienced. And so inside hurricanes, you may know that if the hurricane is well formed, even though you have all the storms and all kinds of movement to the outside, the closer that you get to the center, the eye wall itself is really zipping around, right? But if you can come just inside the eye wall, you find a place of peace. And so it's possible that in this world, in the midst of change and movement, it's possible to find and to sample a place of peace. But you simply have to know where to look for it. So what happens is the weather planes, there are these hurricane observing planes that will actually fly in. They'll avoid the really strong winds, and they'll come down, they'll fly right down into the center part of the hurricane. And they can hang out there as long as is advisable. But the way they know where to be, where it's safe, how to be in a peaceful location, is because they can sample. They use the eye walls as landmarks, one on one side, one on the other. And they know that if they can just stay just to the inside of that and surf that center balanced place, then they can actually hang out there and abide there even over time. Like if that hurricane is traveling from down around, the Caribbean islands, and it's going to go up the coast and stuff, they could fly down into that eye of the hurricane as long as they had enough fuel and stuff and could stay awake to fly the plane and stuff. They could literally hang out there for just hours and hours and hours, as long as what? As long as they have some way to sample a place on one side, a place on the other, and having sampled those points, know how to come just inside of them and rest in the place that is ever accessible in the midst of a storm or in the midst of a changing world. And this relates to the washing machine exercise. But it also, I also, in some of the other videos, I told you how to use the frame of the human body to set up this very thing, where you literally, using the frame of your body, you gather two or more points, and having gathered those points, you know what is in the midst of them. And so, from the place where you are, you gather a point, but where do you gather them from? You gather one from one side, one from the other, you see. And because you gather them one on each side, the place, and you're wanting to experience resting in the middle, you see that you're already in the middle because of the sampling that you've done. That didn't come out too good in English. But basically, a simple example is you set up this yoke or scale, which is referred to in Christianity. You could gather any 2 points. I suggest in the beginning gathering the, feeling the sitting bones, where you meet the chair. There's one on this side and one on this side. And when the world presents itself to you as the changing conditions of a hurricane, for example, well, that's a little extreme, but you tend to lean toward things you want, and that would draw you out of this peaceful place. And then you'd get caught up in the world, and then there would be unfinished business. Or you tend to lean away from things you don't like. You think that's your answer, so you go out there, but then you end up forsaking and leaving this place of peace. But if you can set up this kind of a scale, you can actually surf and hold to this place, because the very instant that, as the world presents itself to you in these varied and infinite combinations, the very instant that you start to lean you know it, and you can bring it back. You know exactly the moment you begin leaning, and you know exactly how much to bring it back, because this center place, this place of peace, is instructive. It's banya, it's the wisdom of the Buddha, in the sense that it's instructional. It's not like it tells you a whole bunch of content, like it says, well, first you need to open school books and then you read these pages. It's not giving you that kind of instruction. No, but this is a way to have your mind still, and in the middle of your world, your life experience, as the world presents itself to you in ever new changes, ever new combinations that have never occurred before from the beginning of time, naturally you'll probably find yourself leaning. And if you're not aware of your center, the peaceful, clear, all-together place, then it's very likely that you'll go out into the world, and then you'll just get buffeted around. Your life will be more like an unorganized storm and less like a hurricane. Well, what's the big deal with a hurricane? Why is that such a big deal? I mean, hurricanes destroy entire cities and stuff. But really, you're in the midst of a changing world, and what's going to happen is your life experience where you are can be peaceful, and then from a place of peace, you can interact in the world in a peaceful way, if you can learn to abide in this place. So how the flip is a person going to learn how to do that? Well, they got to come up with some kind of movement that's like a hurricane. Doesn't that make sense? There are other ways to do it, probably, but what the Sufi mystics have found is they can spin. And even if they start out like an unorganized storm, just random clouds here and there, even if it's almost a mess, you can still take that whole thing and just spin it. And it's the spinning that if you could look right down from above, you'll see the place of peace. In fact, if you can find a rock or something that's not even round, something that if you look at it, you can't even easily find where the center is, right? But as an experiment, if you can just take that, just for fun, just take that thing and spin it on the ground, and as you do, look right down from above, and you'll see a place that is steady. You'll find, I mean, it's kind of a weird experiment, but if you can spin even almost a malformed type of thing, spin it, it will organize it around a center. It's kind of a physical example. We're dealing with physical things like the physical body or a physical stone if we're going to spin it. But it's supposed to be spiritual. It's not supposed to be physical. So what's the deal with that? Well, if you can find a place to rest, a steady place to rest in the midst of a changing world, and learn how to hang out there, then as the world presents itself to you, to the place where you are, you can react in such a way that is balanced and steady. If it's balanced and steady, and if it's not in a way that leans, that means just simply by not leaning, that means you're not mismatching the arrival of these varying conditions around you. That's a stupid way to explain it, so just forget that. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do the washing machine exercise now, okay, and why it's good. So I'll use this guy. Buddy, we need you. So if you were just to spin, right, just start spinning, bro. Now he's spinning pretty slow, but imagine that he's spinning like 10 times faster than that. Just imagine it, okay? Hey man, I'm starting to get dizzy. So you see, he can only spin so much and then he starts to get dizzy, right? Of course, with experience, over time he could get pretty good, and perhaps like an ice skater or somebody. You know, they spin a lot and they're still steady. But in the beginning, he's got to adapt, don't you? Yeah, man, I got to adapt. So the washing machine exercise comes in this way. So you want your center clear, right, brother? Yeah, I want it clear. So turn this way, and now turn this way, and turn back again, and turn back again. And see, brother, you're still turning around the central axis, aren't you? Yeah, I am, but hey, man, I'm not even getting dizzy when I do it this way. That's right, brother. You're organizing yourself, your experience around a center. And by turning in that way, the one that spins, the one that turns, is ever where they are, in the center. But you don't have to worry about getting dizzy. Isn't that true, son? I understand that. Okay. So that's why you want to do the washing machine exercise. Because you can, I'll show it to you again. It's done in a relaxed way. But if you're too attached to the world, it's going to be perhaps rough going in the beginning. But the more you do this, you'll find that the things are thrown to the outside. And the center will be clearer and clearer. It'll be experienced as clearer and clearer. Now, beneath the hurricane, this is the idea that the peaceful place, perhaps it can seem as discovered with the landmarks of the eye walls that you use as references. But beneath the hurricane, the idea is that peaceful place is like it's still there, even beyond the appearance of the changes and the storms and stuff. It's like it's more like it's like this example. When someone digs a hole in the dirt, right? They dig a hole, and someone says, "Look." Someone says, "What do they say?" They say, "Look, that guy just dug a hole. He just created a hole." But brother, I'm here to tell you, he didn't create the hole. The hole was already there. What's he talking about, man? What's he trying to say? Well, brother, what I wanted to say is before the guy dug into the earth in that way, before, what you had was the hole plus dirt. Mathematically, that's what you had. And then when you dug the dirt out, what you had was you had the hole minus the dirt. So do you see that in that equation, the hole was steady both times? It might be hard to get. But it's like one idea is that the guy, he created the hole by digging it. But the other one is that, no, because that space was still there. That's what I'm trying to say. The space was there. It just had dirt in it. Okay? So maybe it's the same with the hurricane, where the hurricane spins. Before it started spinning, the peaceful place was still there, but it just had not dirt, but wind and rain and all that in it. And then by spinning, as the things got thrown to the outside, then the equation was the whole, or the peaceful place, or the empty place, whatever you want to call it, minus the dirt, or minus the wind and the trees and the leaves and stuff. I want to tell you, though, the eye of the hurricane or the eye of the typhoon, it's a very, very real thing. Because I went through a typhoon back in Taiwan, a couple of them actually. But I remember me and my Mormon missionary buddy, we were trying to look alive. We thought, I was thinking we should stay in, but at least 2 typhoons, man. I remember we went out in the typhoon anyway, riding our bikes. And I remember one time we showed up at these people's house, and they were Americans. They were servicemen, military people, and they didn't even think we'd show up, but we did. And they thought, man, there must be something about your message, because you showed up no matter what. So then they were pretty sincerely interested in what we had to teach them. And then this other time, I was with my Superman companion, which I admire that brother to this day, man. He's a guy that really knows how to work. But at the time, it seemed almost silly to be out there running up and down stairs and zipping around corners and stuff. And so we were on our bikes in the middle of this flipping hurricane. We rounded this corner, and the wind gust just accelerated us right up to an extraordinary rate of speed, man. We were just really zipping along. So what I'm trying to tell you about the typhoon, I got distracted, but what it's like is you really do feel the winds coming, and it'll seem like it's coming from one side. And then finally the eye wall, you get past that point, and it's like the sun comes out, man. There's blue sky and birds, and it's just beautiful and peaceful, man. I don't know if it's peaceful. I think it's peaceful perhaps because of the contrast. Yeah, it's very interesting. So then you think the typhoon's over with, right? But then, as it moves past you, it's the return of the other side of the eye wall. And then the more elements zipping around. Brother, I got distracted today. I mean, I didn't want to go off on so many tangents, but I think in general they do answer the question about the washing machine exercise. To summarize it, you get the same benefits as spinning, but without getting dizzy. It's something that you can do on a steady basis, and as you do that, as you do the washing machine exercise, similar to spinning, things will be thrown to the outside, and you'll organize your earthly experience in this body as connected and relating to the external world. It will become organized around a center. And I guess that's about it. But man, I know this video, man, I just had all these things come to me, and I don't know that I stayed on topic that much, but I'm going to put it up anyway. So if the video's just BS, then man, hang in there, and maybe the next one will be better. Please like and subscribe. Much love. And would you mind looking through the links below and just finding something that you can, some way to support our channel, whether it's subscribing, liking, or buying something. Why don't you buy a merch shirt? Can you imagine how fun it would be to walk around town with something like this? It's so ignorant that I know people are going to love it. All right. God bless.